Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Business Spotlight. I am Scott McMeans with Action Coach, and I am here with Peter Cimoroni from Palladium. And what we're going to do is spend the next couple minutes talking about what Peter's done in his career, how he's built Palladium to what it is today, and give a little understanding about the lessons learned over a course of a really solid career. So, Peter, if I could, I'm going to hand the microphone and the camera to you. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience and let them know who we're talking to today.
Thanks, Scott. Yeah, it's Peter Cimoroni, CEO and chairman and founder of Palladium LLC. And we're a best practices company. We really help companies get from good to great, great to excellent, excellent to world class. A lot of different ways we do that, but that's what we do.
I love it. Well, so talk to me about how you got into doing this kind of business.
It's a great question. You know, Scott, I've owned 9 businesses in my career, and I've succeeded at 6, but I failed at 3. And in those 3 failures, I've really learned a lot more than I did in the successes of primarily what not to do. And so in that what not to do, we also found best practices of what to do to make sure that we didn't have those same mistakes and those heartaches of what we did that were the mistakes. And in those heartaches, they also cost us not only emotions, but they cost us dollars and the most precious thing, time, which can't get back. So I'm very time jealous. I'm 66 and a half years old, and I don't want to waste another minute on this planet if I don't have to, and clearly don't want to do that for my clients. So I want to give them the absolute best possible advice we can give them in a timely and prompt fashion.
The idea of time jealous is a new concept. It was just introduced to me by Peter Cimoroni in the last 20 seconds. I think that's a brilliant way of suggesting that time is one of our most, if not the most precious asset, and do not waste it. And the idea of not wasting another minute is a great idea. And that's probably the best lesson we're going to learn today. But let's keep going because I'm going to guess Peter's got a few more tricks up his sleeve. Let me ask you a little bit about the lessons that you learned and the things you figured out not to do. How do you turn it into a positive when you know I know I don't need to do that again, but how do I turn that into now it's a best practice for Palladium?
Sure. Well, you know, one of the things that I teach in our engagements is to have an open mind and an open heart, and to leave the ego at the door. And when you don't leave the ego at the door, you make mistakes, because there's so much great technology that if you become, have this hubris where, oh, I know it all, or I don't want to take another sales call, or I don't want to hear about another technology, you will miss out on brilliant stuff that will affect your EBITDA immensely. Case in point, one of our best practices as a product is a service technology that will show you actually how to make money out of paying your bills. It is an accounts payable solution that is brilliant, and you make money by paying your bills through paying it through this platform. And that said, if you don't have an open heart and an open mind, you'll miss the boat, and you're leaving money on the table, because you don't have to really do anything more, and it's going to save you money and make you money. So it's a double whammy, and that's where what not to do is sort of turned on its head of what to do by leaving those bad traits, I guess, lack of a better term.
Okay. You have intrigued me, and I'm sure the audience is going to be very interested in learning about how you can make money by paying your bills. Is this a Palladium proprietary software? What is this platform you're referring to?
No, it is a platform that has been created and sold for the past 50 years, primarily over the last 20 through the MasterCard platform. and it's a business application of the MasterCard rebate platform. So instead of paying your bills through the ACH modality that banks like to, kind of suck you into, or the old-fashioned way of a check or even wire transfer, which is expensive, you pay it through the MasterCard, which is a virtual MasterCard platform. And in that, you get a rebate. And sometimes as much as 180 basis points rebate on every dollar.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep.
So that
Yep.
that is an excellent challenge turned into an opportunity or a best
Right.
practice. I like
Yep.
that. What
Yep.
other examples do you have that the audience would find intriguing?
So that's a great question. So, there's a lot of line item efficiencies that just go by the wayside. And what I mean by that is there's, people don't look at each line item and see if it can be an actual revenue source. I just mentioned one, right?
Yeah.
So, or are we spending too much in human capital there? Or are we, just because we have a great relationship, we're allowing them to take advantage of us? Case in point, property and casualty insurance is rife with that. I have consulted to the property and casualty insurance industry since the early 90s. And the best ones are the ones that are constantly searching for the best, not only price, but also the best coverages and the most proactive coverages that they could possibly bring their client on a biannual basis, not on an annual basis, but at least on a biannual basis to do a checkup prior to that renewal. And those that do that win the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so those that don't are literally, in my estimation, they're thieves. They're in the pocket of their client. And that could be the guy that takes them, to dinners and to the golf resorts and sends them on the trip to the islands or whatever, but never shops the policy. And we're talking about some of these substantial companies, right? And you're talking about not doing it for 3 or 4 years. You're in their pocket for 3 or 4 years. So
or you're allowing, as a business, you're allowing somebody to be in your pocket for that period of time without, to your point, doing a line item efficiency audit to check everything to make sure that your money is going where you need it to go and be more efficient with your outlay of cash. Am I? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you're spot on. You're spot on. Yep.
That's interesting. And
yeah,
businesses run off of relationships, and I don't think that'll ever change. The challenge is the relationship has to be not symbiotic, has to be back and forth and mutually beneficial to both parties. I offer you my goods and services in return for a fee, and we both agree, and we keep moving forward as long as we're both happy. When relationships become one-sided, somebody is taking advantage of the other. And I agree with you that the check that needs to take place on a biannual or annual basis is something that every business should go through to make sure that their partners are legitimately their partners, right?
Yep.
They're not taking advantage of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had a conversation with my corporate counsel that had been my corporate counsel since 2008. And I sat with him and I said, I'm shopping you, my man. And he said, why? I said, because in the last 5 years, you haven't even made one introduction for me. And I've sent you not only all my business, but all my family's business.
Yeah. What was his reaction?
He goes, you're right, man. I suck. And I said, well, you do great work. You do great work, but where's the partnership? This is a monologue. It's not a dialogue, and when you're talking, particularly, mid-size, small to mid-sized businesses, everybody's, got to help each other.
100%. Yeah. We speak that very same language, Peter. There is a way to do business, and then there's a way to have business. And then what I mean
Correct.
by that is you can run your business all you want, but if you have a business and people are constantly taking chunks out of you, you don't really run your business. You're trying so desperately to stay alive. And what we try to do as business
Yeah.
coaches, it sounds like what you what you do as well, is get people to understand their business for what it is and what it can
Yep.
be, and help them lay that foundation and then the building blocks to get there. This is interesting. I'm interested to learn how you select the customers that you work with. How does that come about?
Yeah. Well, we go in and we really, if they're not willing to do the a deep dive, then I am not willing to talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
Have to do the deep dive. They have to get naked with me, if you will, and they have to be genuine and candid, because there's no way we can help. I coached. I was telling you off air that I coached high school and college wrestling for 45 years. Well, there's no way I'm going to help you, um, become a better wrestler if you're not honest with me.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be in the room, you're not. You're it's a waste of both of our times. You
Right.
just can't try. You can't try the sport of wrestling. It's like you got to go for it, right?
Yeah.
So, business is the same way. You just can't try the business. Trying is nonsense. You got to want to do it, man. And so if you don't want to commit to it and do it, then don't bring us in, and don't not be candid
Yeah.
with me.
Well, that makes a solid analogy, whether you've ever been on a wrestling mat or not. I think it goes to every athletic endeavor, any competitive endeavor anybody's ever been in.
Right.
You can teach somebody to the cows come home how to do a fireman's carry. You can do it all day long. If they have absolutely no desire to be really good at it, they're never going to pull that off. They're never going to get the takedown. So
Yep.
at some point in the process, it has to be a candid realization that I am here because I want to be here and I know I'm not where I would want to be. That's it.
Yeah.
If people don't
Yeah.
involve themselves in the process, they get lost in the process. You have to really want this, and you want to be able to recognize where you are and change who you are to get that end result. It's a powerful statement, Peter, and I appreciate you being so candid with the audience on this, because there's a lot of people that truly believe I'm just going to pay an invoice or have somebody come help me and it's all going to work. You
Yeah.
got to put the work in yourself. That's
Well,
that's
you're the
the
owner. You got to own it.
Yeah. Well,
You
that's
know,
100%. You have
right?
to
You're
own
the
it.
owner, so you got to own it. Even if you're, well, the CEO, you're still an owner, really. I mean,
Mhm.
everybody's an owner. That's what people don't realize. If you're trading time for money, you better own it, because that's your time. You'll never get that back. That's number one.
Correct.
Number two, what I did the last 2 years coming out of COVID coaching, because I just retired in April, is I said, I don't know what time I'm going to have with these kids. I got to have them have fun and get good quick. So I really reduced teaching moves. I just found out what they loved to do. That move, that takedown, that pin, that escape. And I said, just make it your match and just practice that and have a
Mm.
blast with it. And so one guy was, we call, he was a captain of our team, was Captain Cradle. He would pin a kid. That's his move. And he pinned 25 out of 35 kids he wrestled with a cradle. We had another kid that wanted to do, the surfboard, the double arm bars. We called him Sammy Surfboard. We had another kid that all loved the blast double, and he was a double dude. I mean, the point I'm making is, why teach him a single, right? If he loves the double,
Yeah.
go do it, man. And if the guy beats you, he's better. But man, just go for it. And they got good quick, and they had a blast, and the time
Yeah.
that was spent
I
was
like it.
intense. It was passionate. So that's what I'm talking about in business. We miss that. We think it's just a job.
No, and I've been a big proponent for years that I exchange my time and talent for my fee or my salary. And in
Right.
that exchange, if I'm good, I deserve my money. If I'm not, I got to get better to deserve the money I want. In other words, if I don't make enough money, find a way to get better so I can make more money, whether it's through promotions, bonus, commission dollars, whatever it might be. I need to own that to get better. And I think in the concept of wrestling, which is a really interesting team sport, think about
Yeah.
it. Okay, if you have Sammy Surfboard or Captain Cradle, whomever it is,
Yeah.
they're really good at that one thing. Let them
Yeah.
be really good at it because they like it. They're good
Yeah.
at it. Fine. In the same context of business, as an owner, do the things
Yeah.
you really love to do and make you money. You're going to be successful and delegate everything else. If you've got a team
Right.
of 14 wrestlers and everybody's really good at the cradle, somebody's going to find a way to beat the cradle and your team's not good. But if you've got
Right.
a way of having all these different moves and all these different specialties within your business and people are really good at them, guess
Yeah.
what? You have an unbelievably successful and rather powerful team because not everybody's doing the exact same thing. There's people that have specialties and there's people that do them really well. That's what a business should be built on, is finding the
Yeah.
way, finding what you like to do and finding a way to get it done right.
Yeah. I mean, hire adults that are good at what they do. If he's the CFO, let him do his job.
Well,
I mean,
it's interesting. You said hire adults. Why would you say hire adults?
well, come on. I mean, look at the workforce today. You
It's a
know,
challenge. It is a
yeah,
challenge.
the entitlement and the nonsense and the things that you have to do today. But that's just not adulthood.
Yeah,
They say there's this new term, adulting is hard, right? Yeah, it's hard because we haven't prepared our young people for true adulthood, the reality of the
correct.
world. And the other
Correct.
thing too is if you don't like it, start your own thing.
And
Just
there's
start
plenty of opportunity to do that,
plenty of
right?
opportunity, and there's no guarantees, but there's plenty of opportunity. So at the end of the day, I just think that what what a great leader, a great CEO, a great business owner has is that open heart and open mind. And
Like it.
in that, yeah, and in that there is no ego for ego's sake, because ego is healthy if it's pointing the right direction, done for the right reasons. But to self-aggrandize, my grandmother used to say, self-praise stinks.
It does. And one of the biggest challenges most business owners have is swallowing their pride and saying, I need help and I'm going to go
Yeah,
get it.
sure.
Right. Humility is something that people find as weakness. What is interesting, you and I both know, having the strength to recognize your own weaknesses is one of the
Yeah,
most powerful strength things you can do as an individual. Is I know I'm not good at this, so I'm
right.
either going to get better at it or I'm going to hire somebody who is so I can be successful. That's it. It makes it very simple.
Yep.
We've got a lot of stuff here. I want to learn a little bit about, okay, 45 years you've been coaching wrestling, which is amazing. If you were to go back to the 18-year-old Peter,
Yeah.
what would you say to 18-year-old Peter, knowing what you've been till right now?
Well, my 18-year-old Peter, that would have been 1975. And I would have told him, buy Microsoft
Yeah. Okay.
as much as you possibly can. And definitely buy Amazon.
When no one knew what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, when it was like a cent, 2 cents. But seriously, what I would have told him is that there's going to be things that you're you're going to have talent for that you won't even you have no idea. Allow yourself the opportunity to express yourself genuinely,
I love it.
not what people expect of you. Because at the end of the day, we all follow this effed up script, right?
Yep.
DeMarco wrote a book about it, right? Unscripted or whatever it is, unscripted. Great book.
Yeah. No,
And
you bring up such a solid point, Peter, and that is we all live within the box that we were told to live in when we were 12, 13, 14, going through high school, trying to figure ourselves out.
yeah,
And when we graduate high school, we're told go to college. But what
Yeah.
if I really, really, really like cars and I just want to be an auto mechanic? I'm really good at it. What if I
Yeah.
really, really, really like drafting and I could just be a draftsman? Or what if I can turn a wrench on an HVAC system and I could be an amazing technician?
True.
Why would we tell people to do something that is not part of the dream or part of their own thing? Going back to what we said before, if you are an owner of your own self, your own future, and you find something you're really good at and you get really, really good at because it, or you find something you like and
Yeah.
you become really, really, really good at it. Why would you take that away from somebody and say, I'm going to stop that pursuit and I'm going to go away for 4 years, accumulate over $200,000 worth of debt so I can come out and get a job that I could have gotten if I would have just went to 2 years of undergraduate school and learned the basics and gotten the job anyway. So it's an
Yep.
interesting dynamic, right?
Yep.
So I am
Yep.
a big believer in constant continual learning. And if you find the right business, whether it's the type of thing you do or any one of your clients, if you find the right business, they'll teach you exactly how they want things done. And you get to learn how not to do things because you learn by mistakes. That's not what I was supposed to do. Fine. That's a better way of learning than sitting in a classroom trying to figure out theory.
Yeah.
It's
And
just
but I
not
will
fun.
not. But I will tell you that my education, in particularly in at John Carroll University, was was life changing for two
Mm,
reasons. Two professors that changed my life. One, Dr. Thomas Six, long dead. He was a former Jesuit who left the priesthood and became a teacher in philosophy, and really elevated my way of thinking. He opened my mind
okay.
to and in that opening of my mind, I then went and I took a class in history, European history. My mother's Armenian, and I wanted to learn about the Armenian genocide through not just their narrative, but also through the narrative of higher education. And so, with those two, they really, really expanded my way of thinking. And in that, I've written 400 poems. I've written three books, and I've also created these podcasts because it engendered my creativity that was being kind of saddled, if you will, or
I love
corralled.
that.
You know,
No, that's
yeah,
brilliant. And who would have thought the
yeah,
wrestling coach, would have written poetry and written books and has
yeah,
an artistic side to him?
right,
That is, well, you said it before. If you have a talent, allow yourself to express yourself generally and not follow the expected script. That
yeah.
is exactly what you've done. And I think that is a brilliant way of finalizing our conversation today. Peter, this has been educational. It's been outstanding. A really interesting and very good combination of, and I think what not to do, turning it into best practices and finding the best leader and the best person out of yourself. This has been great. I really appreciate your time doing this. Um,
Thank you, Scott.
everybody, yeah,
I love the
please,
conduit.
yeah, take a look at the description down below. I'll have links to Peter's podcast, links to some of it, to his books and his website. So take a look down there for that. And we will see everybody on the next episode of the Business Spotlight. Thanks, Peter.
Peace, man. Thank you.